All right. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. My little buddy Apollo is taking a nap behind me tonight. It's really nice to kind of do an evening reading. A lot of mine are early in the morning, around 9 o'clock Pacific time. I like to occasionally accommodate different time zones. I know this works a little bit better for all of you in Australia and the other side of the continent, or the globe rather. So hopefully you're enjoying today. As I was kind of like haphazardly putting the impromptu reading up for Monday, I realized that it kind of nicely sits with the new moon, which is happening today and tomorrow. So this is a nice way to kind of go between one month and another. Also ease into the new year. Retrograde is going to be ending this week. I believe it's on the 4th, which means February should have a much easier sort of energy. So as we kind of look at the first few days of the month, this reading is in place, as the caption here says, for anybody who just needs a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help. These are very spontaneous. They don't have the normal sort of organization that my typical one would, but that's cool because it means that the guides are going to kind of take us in any direction that we need to go. I have a couple things that I want to look at today. We're not going to be doing channeled messages at the beginning. That will be part of my monthlies and my weekends. I really want to focus today on looking at some of the stuff that we can release, because we're just getting through the retrograde. You still have a few days. So I'm going to write some of this down. But I think what I'd like to look at is opportunities to release. And the other thing that, and areas where we can see some of that release happening. I think the other thing that would be really nice tonight is to take a look also at where things are opening up for you. And that's something that you can control a lot more. So openings and opportunities, I think, would also be really, really cool to look at. So we'll definitely look at that. And I think that looking at the elements will also be nice. So I'll do an elemental breakdown, and I know a lot of you enjoy that when I do this. This reading will be used for anybody that needs it anytime you need it, but especially right here around this new moon. But if you happen to catch it a little bit later, because I'm going to be looking at the energy available across February, I would really say anytime you need it in February, and really probably any new moon cycle, if you wanted to come back and revisit this, that would be a good idea. So let's begin with our usual just sort of introductions. Like I said, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a collective impromptu, so everybody's welcome, and it's good to see so many faces here already. Just a quick note, to be kept in the loop of things like this, definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon, because that will ensure that you get a notification. You can also set a reminder for upcoming videos, and that will give you a quick heads up when I'm going to be live. I also did post on social media this morning reminding folks that I did an impromptu, or I'd be doing an impromptu. So those are two ways to get involved. By the way, talking about subscribing and liking, it actually just helps other people discover this as well. So thank you for helping spread the word. I do appreciate it. It's a simple button click, and that's all it takes. If you want to give back a little bit, completely optional, but it does help. It helps me continue to put resources into the channel. And I mentioned that one of the things that I'm doing is prepping for a podcast. It's going to take some research, and I need to get a few of them developed. So that's why when I can free myself up to do that, then I can get that launched a little faster. So it's definitely in the works. It'll probably be springtime at this point, springtime or early summer. But as soon as I am ready, I will launch that. And for more information about when I'm live, you can go here. I haven't yet posted the dates for the upcoming month. I should do that either tonight or tomorrow. So just keep an eye on the community tab and also social media for more information. All right, let's get into the first thing today. I really want to focus on, we're going to do a full Celtic cross too, but I want to kind of go more in the flow here and look at some things like, again, where you could release. So I'm going to move between a bunch of different decks today. I definitely think for the main spread, I'd like to use the Sun and Moon deck because it makes a lot of sense for today. But to get started here, let's see. I'm going to use this deck, which is, I think, Tarot of St. Croix. So let's go ahead and put the camera on the desk here and see what's going to come through here for opportunities to release, things that we can let go of in this period of time, focusing on the new moon. Normally we would do some of that with a full moon, but because we're a new moon in retrograde, I think that looking at anything that you want to let go of first would be effective, and then we can focus on the openings as well, or the goals that you want to set. All right, so what can you let go of? Let's see. Look at past, present, and future influences as we go into this. All right, we got some powerful cards here. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. We have the Tower card, and we also have the Queen of Cups card. So you have two power signs here, but we also have this change and movement and shift. Let's go ahead. I don't always do this, but I want to clarify the Tower itself with just an additional card. And we have the Eight of Pentacles, the details. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these. So we're going to begin here with the first card, past influences. And one of the things that you're being challenged or presented with as an opportunity is to take a little bit more power or control over things. And with this Queen of Wands card here, I love, again, that she has her own drum. So she's basically making her own sort of battle plan, her own goals, her own vision, and sticking to that. There is an introspective energy whenever we have any of these cards in the reverse state. So the fact that the first card is reversed is saying a lot of what you're focusing on right now is knowing who you are, managing aspects of your life perhaps that you had kind of let go of, or maybe you've been focusing so much on mothering, nurturing, managing, bossing around someone else that your own life kind of fell into disrepair. So if you found that you're kind of guilty of that, worrying about everyone but yourself, this card is encouraging you in this period of time, right here, right now, as we're straddling these 2 months, to basically say, all right, I need to get to business on this, this, and this, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to that. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can focus on releasing, is trying to control others. Shift the focus instead internally, work on keeping yourself accountable, work on being the boss of your life. And basically, as many of you know, this is one of my favorite Queen cards to get, because anything that seems insurmountable, she's absolutely capable of approaching it with this sense of ease and aplomb and just pure skill. So if you can just kind of turn the needle and turn the energy internally and say, all right, I'm going to do this, you have a good chance of actually doing it. All right. So that was in the past. Then we have this really sort of pivotal energy right here at the center. So it's the Tower and the Eight of Pentacles. We'll talk about the Tower card first. The Tower card is not something to be feared. It's simply change. What I like about this one, and I'll pull really close so you can see it. Can you see the person at the top of the Tower completely at zen and ease with what's going on? Feeling like, okay, I've got this. I see the change going on around me, but I might actually have called that into being, right? This is a very clear, calm, and collected Tower. Sometimes things have to break in order to fix. Sometimes you have to have an argument in order to heal. Sometimes you have to sort of lose something so that you understand how important you felt that was. We need context. We need to experience changes and shifts in order to get to the next level. When we are aware that that shift is happening as a gift, as a benefit, as a teacher, then we can sort of be as zen as this, it's almost like a yogi looks up there, where it's sort of like, okay, I've got this. I've been through this before. I'm not going to freak out. And that's really what this card is inviting you to do, is to be at peace with change. You may also be the agent of change, and you're expecting and sort of thriving amidst all of these changes, right? What can you put your focus on while some of this is going on? Well, on the small stuff. The Eight of Pentacles here is really cool. I think we have a beaver building a dam here. The card was in reverse, but we should look at it in the upright position so we can get the full meaning of it. In the upright position, Eight of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards because it shows an absolute return on the investment. And it can be investment of anything, investment in a relationship, investment in a product or service, basically putting your attention to something and just seeing something grow. Now, Eight of Pentacles is also a card of revising, editing, planning. It's also very much the small stuff. So sometimes I would say, don't sweat the small stuff. Right now, I would say this is a very pivotal time for you to reimagine how all these little things could come together. And you could take sometimes things that you thought were stuck and then remold them or reimagine how they could fit together. For those of you that happen to be a writer, for instance, this would be about editing or somehow maybe rearranging things so that there's a more sort of clear picture, or sometimes even taking things out can help you see the whole better. So sometimes less is more. Sometimes you have to edit things a little bit, okay? But for those of you that are looking for something to pay attention to, I would say definitely looking at the small print, definitely looking at anything that doesn't make sense for you. That's going to be so important for you, okay? And I do like that we have a totem here, again, the beaver that can kind of exist between water and land, and is also working with different elements like wood, which would represent fire. So we have someone here that has magician-like energy in spirit, which is good. So you're going to have to kind of use be resourceful and use your imagination a bit with this situation that's kind of changing and shifting. So that is the present, which is you're going to be this sort of Zen, peaceful, yogi type person amidst the changes, and you're going to focus on the things that you can control. Let's go into the future state here. So in the future state, we have Queen of Cups. Relationships for many of you could be taking much more of a focus. The card in reverse is reminding you that you've earned this time and this opportunity to be picky. So if something doesn't feel right to you, if something feels like it is the person, let's say there's a relationship or a family member or a coworker, and they're simply not putting your needs on the table. This is saying, hey, wait a second, I matter here, and I want to make sure that this is good for both of us. So speak up. You've earned this opportunity. It's also asking you, as you step into the month ahead, are you truly receptive to what's coming through? Or could there be some sort of a doubt stepping in, which is making you wonder, do I deserve this? Do they love me? Is this good enough? Because those question marks can also push away some sort of an opportunity as well, okay? So just to kind of look at them in kind of concert with one another here, minding and focusing on your business, stepping back from trying to be everything to everyone, making absolute peace with the necessary changes and focusing on editing, reworking, revising. Remembering that, yes, you are deserving of all the things that have come to you in this moment in time. It's the right time, it's the right place. And also, if something doesn't feel right, speak up. You don't have to sit in the back of the room and wait and hope that someone's going to understand and make room for you. Both of these cards are boss card energy. And so this is saying business and heart affairs should be in a good space. And if they're not, it's time to make some changes. It's time to put some things into writing or into a contractual sort of space. Okay? So release trying to control, release putting yourself on the back seat, release keeping things the same. It's time to rework everything, and you're going to have the ability, like the magician, which has been our constant friend throughout the January and February readings, to make it work. Okay? Beautiful cards, beautiful messages. All right, let's focus now on moving from things to release on really the opportunities. And we'll go much deeper when I take a look at the Celtic cross in a bit, and also when I look at the elements. But I just want to kind of get the same sort of high level energy. So I'm going to put this aside, this deck for now, which I love. Haven't used it in a while. We're going to move along to Raven's Prophecy, which doesn't get its time in the sun sometimes in the the voting. So I'm trying to pick all the ones that don't always get highlighted here today. And as we look at Raven's Prophecy, again, we're going to look at openings and opportunities, past, present, and future. Past is going to show us things that we probably that slip through your fingers. So this could be like second chances for some of you as well. Okay? So let's take a look and see what messages come through. All right, so we have past, Four of Pentacles, present, Three of Swords reverse, which is actually a healing sign, and then the Strength card here in the future. So let's see how this is going to make sense for all of us. So again, looking at openings and opportunities. So one of the things that you can focus on, a reason that something could have slipped through your fingers in the past is the Four of Coins is a very restrictive card. So here we see a bunch of rose vines, it looks like, tightly wound together to the point that they're probably not going to be able to grow and produce flowers. The Four of Pentacles has a similar sort of ability to inhibit or to restrain growth. We would normally see a figure with a big coin over top of their heart. They're holding it close, they're holding it tight, and they're afraid, is this it? Or again, some of those questions we talked about earlier. Am I good enough? Will this happen? What if I let this go? Will this be the only person, the only opportunity? All of those things. By restricting, by holding on, by kind of strangling something out, what happened here when it comes to opportunities for growth is that it was stunted. So what you're going to do here in this new moon cycle is to focus on opening the heart especially, and saying, let's just see how it feels. Let's just see where it might take me. Because lo and behold, it could be surprising. I might be pleasantly surprised at what's possible here. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So for many of you, I think that that's the big opportunity here with the Four of Pentacles. So definitely give yourself a chance to just be open. As we step into present, we have Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is in the reverse state. This particular Three of Swords, I'm going to pull the card up for a second, does show two hands. Ostensibly, it could be one person's hands. It could also be a couple here. But basically, they're holding hands, and we see the swords through them. So one of the things that you want to do to open up opportunities is to give yourself permission, absolutely give yourself permission to be happy. And sometimes we deny our happiness because it's expected by our parents, for instance, especially a lot of us as children are expected to go on to a certain career path that is not authentic to us, to marry a certain type of person that we may not be attracted to do certain things by certain ages, to be better than X or Y in our family, like our brother or our sister or whatever. So you can focus on what makes you happy. You do you. You let them do them, whatever needs to be done in their own lives. And I think that's going to be the most important thing, is to allow yourself room to breathe, room to grow, and room to just do what's best for you. Because sometimes when we just kind of like pull it in and think it's okay, it's fine, we are kind of also, when the heart closes down, our power closes down, because when we're not passionately connected to things that matter, then we become bitter. I'm sure you've seen it in friends and family. Someone who maybe you haven't seen in a long time, you'll just see it in their face. You'll see it in the way that they act. They've lost that fire. So don't lose that fire in your heart. Open that up. Give yourself permission to be happy. If you're not happy in a job or relationship, then even though we're looking at opportunities, it's still a little bit in the energy of release, which makes sense. Again, we're going to have a little bit of retrograde, a little bit of new moon. So the new moon, I'll focus on a lot when I look at the Celtic cross. But for this, it looks like there's a little bit of healing. This can be a rebounding card after a breakup, after being fired, after being made redundant, etc. And what you want to realize is you don't have to worry as much about that person, place, or thing anymore. Sometimes we have someone in our life that kind of just does it for us, right? It's like they pull the roots up. So you get an opportunity now to try again somewhere else. You don't have to keep existing in that space. All right. And finally, with this beautiful future card here, we have Strength. Strength is reversed. So for some of you, there is this reclamation moment where you're finding voice, finding power, finding purpose, and you might be sort of like surprised that you're able to do it. Don't be. The other thing here is that you don't have to fight or force something to happen. So here we're only focusing on the hand, but we normally see the woman opening up the mouth of the lion or some beast of choice on that card. And one thing that it always shows to me is that, okay, so we can make this change happen. I can make this change happen, but it's going to require a lot of work. Is it worth the trade-off that I need to do to make this happen? Or is this simply like a waste of time and energy? So as you look at opportunities in front of you, how hard do you have to fight for some of these things to happen? And at some point, why are you worried? If it is a circle of friends and they're not inviting you out, you could probably do better. If it's a job and it's been 3 or 4 interviews and they haven't made their mind up, they have a lack of vision, they have a lack of management. If it is a college and it just seems like they're making you wait forever and other choices are coming and there could be something better out there. You matter and your time is valuable. And sometimes those delays are little nudges from the universe and questions. Are you sure? So all you have to do is go internal and say, am I sure? And that answer will help you decide, yes, I'm sure I'm going to wait, or no, I'm not. Let's see what else is out there. As I'm reading this, I feel like someone just punched me in the gut in the solar plexus. Fun things with being intuitive, sometimes you get phantom pains. It's not that bad, it's just a quick pain. But some of you have a big tug of war between someone in your life, probably a strong family connection. This card can indicate a strong divine feminine energy. So a lot of times that can be an aunt or a mother, but we like to look at energy independent of gender. So it's just someone that's really strong and tends to want to take care or make things happen. So sometimes that person wants to exert their power over you. You're going to reclaim it this period of time. That's the opportunity for you. So your mantra is, I'm strong and I'm powerful enough. Apollo, buddy, what's going on? Do you want to say hi to everyone? I know we didn't bring you up at the beginning. Sometimes this is what happens. So this is Apollo working out all that strength, aggression, and saying, I feel it. I understand, Dad. It's tough to go through that sometimes, right? So sometimes we just need to channel it out like Apollo and have something to just sort of make us feel better. How's it going? He gets jealous sometimes when I read. For those of you that might have dogs, I'm sure you've seen this when you're on the phone or whatever. He's like, Dad, we were supposed to play. This is evening time. So thanks, Apollo, for your cameo. Oops. There you go, buddy. I'm sure he's going to go back to that bed and just dig again. But for those of you that have lots of ops and mixes, you know that this is exactly, this is part of their, it's part of their personality. It's so funny. All right. So by the way, I adopted him during what would have made him like a Taurus birthday. So sometimes he just gets stubborn. He's my little Taurus. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for what to release and focus on. Let's go ahead and do a quick check-in on the elements, and then I want to just pull some cards on the new moon, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the elements. Let me just switch to, just kind of help here. We're going to look at fire, earth, air, and water in this order. And let me just go ahead now and take a look at them, and then we'll break it down for all of you. So fire, earth, air, and water. Water's got some exciting energy there. Okay, so let's begin with fire. All right, so for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. One of the things that you're going to be working on during this new moon period is really focusing on stress management. You've got the 9 of Swords. Let's pull it in the upright position, bring it a little bit closer so you can see it. I'll take the graphic off for a second. So when we look at this, I love how we can kind of see the fear energy stepping in very firmly in this card. So for many of you, a reminder with the 9 of Swords that things are rarely as bad as they seem. A lot of times we are simply worried about worst case scenario. And I think that what you can do is to set up some time in your calendar and some time in your life to work on research. I know that doesn't sound fun, does it? Or asking people, asking like an expert in your life about something. So if you're afraid of something like how much work will it take to do this, or what will happen if this goes wrong or this happens, I think just being able to communicate those fears to others can help alleviate that sense of how do I get in control of this? What do I do about this? The other thing here, of course, is the quality of sleep. And also for some of you, maybe there's some things going on in your house or environment that could be making this particular 9 of Swords feel more intense than it should. So making sure that before you go to bed, you have time to decompress, making sure that before you go to sleep, you put some things on the list for the next day. That's one thing that I'll do, is just think, all right, I got to do this, this, and this. It's like a grocery list. You sometimes have to just plan ahead. So planning, researching, talking to others, asking questions, these things will help alleviate the 9 of Swords. And for all my fire signs, I feel like you have a lot at stake. It feels like you're actually calling this card into existence because you care so much about the future. Because if you're not invested in the future, you're not going to have fear because there's nothing to lose. If there's nothing to gain, there's nothing to lose. So sometimes you just have that sense of, I really, really want this to work. So fire signs, give yourself a break, take a deep breath. Get enough sleep if you can, and if you're having any problems, reach out. You have a lot of folks there. I feel like you're actually set up for success, and these are the butterflies that are coming before the success. So don't get in your way. Don't get in your own way, okay? One thing that I've discovered as an adult, sorry, it's my neighbor taking their dog for a walk. One thing that I've discovered as an adult is that it's going to be so much better if I just go to sleep sometimes. I had a family gathering over the weekend where day one, everyone was tired and cranky and you could like feel the energy. Day two, everyone got their sleep and it was like a completely different group of people. So it's so much better. It would have been better if we just delayed things, right, for the first day and had more sleep. So get your sleep and you're going to be able to solve your problems a lot faster, okay? So this month in particular, especially over the next few days, prioritize sleep, prioritize rest, get the answers to your questions and do some planning, all right? That is fire, again, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Let's move along to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, I actually feel like there's this kind of epiphany moment that's happening for you. So we have the lovely Hermit energy here. The Hermit always holds the star there, and there is usually introspective work going on for you. So I feel like many of you are in this exploratory space in your life right now where you're deciding who you are, what you want. You might be even finding hidden strengths or powers. The question is not if, but when you're going to step from Hermit into star energy, right? We also see this little skeleton in the corner looking friendly or crazy here. But basically the skeleton is indicating change, transformation, going from one thing to another. And sometimes we hold that within, and that's why the Hermit kind of has the robe on. They're discovering, they're seeking, and it's kind of wizard-like energy. I really like the Hermit because I like to imagine it sort of like a Gandalf or something where they've been around this block a few times. They're not the first. It's not your first time on the rodeo. So you're really deciding like, okay, how and when. Pivotal and planning energy is coming through. So you know that there's this pivotal opportunity, but in order to get to that, you have to plan effectively. So absolutely take your time in getting into that. I'm excited to see where it leads. Inevitably, this will lead to the star. So I do see like this coming out or this announcement or this really bright energy just on the horizon. But some of you are keeping it under wraps and only you might know why you're doing that. But I would say usually this card shows me that you have a lot more power and you're a lot more ready than you think. So I guess for you, my question that I would put out there for you is what's kind of holding you back? Is it fear? Is it just waiting for that perfect timing? Because it does feel like you're closer than you think. And that's the main message for Earth, okay? And I really like the work that you've done internally. Finish it up and get to the next phase because it feels like once you do that, you can start to feel and reap the rewards of all the hard work that you've done. Nice message for my Earth signs. Let's move along to Air. Air, you're finding balance in your life. You're reclaiming balance. So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Two of Pentacles is always an opportunity for you to find just this moment here to kind of get your sort of yourself situated. And I would say many of you might be pulled between two opportunities in your life. Two things that could be really, really inviting for you. And if you are feeling that, then I think that you have permission, but you also kind of have to kind of take the bull by the horns here and just say, this is what I choose. This is what's most important. By the way, I have a test computer here and I'm not seeing buffering. I did set that up so I could look at it. I saw some of you are experiencing buffering. You might have a slow internet. You might want to refresh or reset your router, but it's not giving me any trouble here on my end. Okay, so back to the message for air signs. You really want to be focusing on not overcommitting, not saying that you're going to do everything for everyone. Again, we kind of had some of that in the opportunities that I looked at earlier. And when you take away one of the things that's stressing you, you're left with an ace. The Two of Pentacles is basically a hidden ace card. So one thing is distracting, one thing is enticing. Go towards the enticing thing. Unlike Two of Swords, it's usually much easier to see where that rubber band is going to break, and it's much easier to see where you are most sort of drawn or called to work. So I think that's the most important thing. All right. So there you go. Let me see what else I want to say before I move on to the final card here. Oh, okay. It takes time to adjust. So a lot of times you'll see this as a tightrope walker, a bicyclist, or someone that doesn't have their balance. So for many of you this month, if you've embarked on something new, if you've made a change in the way that you work and the way that you communicate, maybe there's someone new in your life, that's going to put you into that uneasy energy. Give yourself time to find your balance. you'll find it. That's kind of intrinsic, especially for the Libras out there, but all of you, because you're going to be able to talk it out. You have great communication skills and you can see it from a bird's eye view. So use the things that are intrinsic to air, which is communication and that sort of ability to get the bird's eye perspective to help you find the balance. All right. So balance is coming through. You know what you have to do. The sooner you do that, the better you'll be. And the sooner you can kind of just focus on planting that ace and doing something amazing with it. I'm so excited for those water signs out there because we have the Fate card, and I got questions about what deck I'm using. I'm using the Luna deck. Maria Margarita, by the way, thank you for helping moderate tonight. She can put a link to my website where all the decks are. Okay, so for this card, you actually got Fate. Let's take a look at this. So we have this sort of a symbol of death and rebirth here. But within him, we kind of see stardust. And if you look at it, and I can kind of get the camera to pick it up, we have all these like stars and we have this stardust here. And to me, and we also see a halo around the top of this sort of skeleton figure. So Fate to me is such a powerful symbol. I think that many of you have either manifested something that you've been hoping and dreaming for, or there's something that's come into your life. And this opportunity that's come into your life is saying, hey, this is a one-time shot. This window isn't going to open, or this door isn't going to open that many times. So what would you, like, how far would you go to make something happen? And also, how willing are you to kind of like do what's necessary here in this moment in time to make sure that you don't lose something? You have this great sort of potential that's knocking. So I want you to wake up right now and look around and think, wow, if I have this job offer, if I have this love offer, if I have this chance to buy or sell something, whatever it is that's big, it's pivotal, it's like the World card. It feels like the timing is now. And there are some things where this is the connecting flight. And there may be others in the future, but this particular opportunity, this particular shift or change is now. So it's now or maybe in another lifetime. So really think about it before saying no to something. For the rest of you, you're creating, this is a card of power. So there's a reminder with this of the energy and the power in free will. We are active participants and creators in our own fates. And this goes for all signs. So even though the Fate card came here for my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all of us have the ability to be strong, to basically decide, I want this or I don't want this. I'll give you some examples. When you decide to quit a job or break up in a relationship or cut someone out of your life, that sort of energy, you feel it sometimes, right? It can be very reeling for a few days as you're pulling out the cords. The words are just part one. The cord release, is part two, where it's a lot more intense. So focus on making sure that you're completely comfortable with this. And once you do it, again, some of the messages that came through with air are going to help you finding your balance and accepting this sort of new opportunity in your life. Anyway, I think that's an amazing energy. I think it's going to be a really exciting month for water signs. There could be a big shift, something new coming in, and it could be fantastic. You could also be manifesting something new. And you can always choose to enter or leave something. So you have a lot of power of choice. All right, great messages across the board. Nothing here that was problematic. I would say the only sign that I want to see kind of relax a little bit here, or the only element I want to see relax a little bit was the fire. So with just making sure that you're not overdoing things and that you're giving yourself enough time to breathe. Okay, let me get things set up here for the Celtic cross and then we'll wrap up for tonight. I like to make these a little bit shorter and I never know what format they're going to take until I get started. So I've already decided the decks that I'm using today, just because certain ones were calling to me before I got started. Sometimes I have you vote, but for these readings, I like them to kind of go a little faster. So let's take a look now at the energy around the full moon. The new moon, and see what you can open up for this. All right, so let me just see if I need to pull this back a little bit so you can see more. There we go. Okay, so again, this is for all signs present. If you're here, there's a message for you. That's how this sort of reading works. Again, sorry for the the dogs that you can hear in the background. This is dinner hour, so people are taking their dogs for walks. All right, let's pull some additional cards here and finish up the Celtic cross. Yeah, the barking dog in the background is one of my neighbors. That's usually why I end up doing morning readings, because the apartment's a little bit quieter here. Yeah, she has a very vocal dog. It does remind me of the Fool energy whenever I hear that, though. Gives us a chance to sort of laugh and take things one bark at a time, one day at a time. All right, very interesting that we have a message here around balance as well popping in over here. Let's begin with your catalyst card. So let me bring this up here. You got 2 catalyst cards here for this new moon cycle. And again, this is an impromptu reading. I'll put it up in case you just joined. But everybody's welcome today. You always are always welcome. But for impromptus, it's for anyone who needs it anytime that they need it. I am really focusing on new moon energy. So anytime there's a new moon, you can feel free to watch this. Okay, so let's focus on card number 1 in the catalyst. It says the vision. And we see the joint hands here, 2 owls, and we see sort of like within this a new opportunity. And I like that even though I'm not using a deck that's about moon cycles, we can actually see a crescent here, like either a waxing or a waning crescent. So ostensibly this could be within the next 7 to 14 days, when the moon starts to grow again. So what are you trying to create? I look at this as a coin, like a pentacle. What seeds are you planting? What things are you seeking? The vision is part of the important piece of manifestation here. So I'm seeing a mountain worth climbing, some energy worth exploring. And so it's going to be important for you to decide what is it you want. So I think one thing that you can do tonight, I have another candle, we can light it at the end during the meditation, but it's just to really focus on setting an intention. I want to focus on health. I want to focus on love. I want to focus on building my business connections, whatever it is. Try to pick just one thing and really be strong and powerful and proactive about it. I think one thing that we do sometimes is try to throw the kitchen sink out to the universe. Like, all of this, whatever you can give me. The universe then is scattered and less effective. So really focus on one thing and you're going to see more movement there. We have the Kiss here. A lot of sort of partnership energy in these 2 cards, and very interesting that I keep getting moons. This is a deck by the Wild Unknown author. It's their Oracle deck. So this isn't part of it. It shouldn't be all lunar, but it is. So we're seeing 2 crescent moons. So that is a pretty big synchronicity as we're looking at these 2 cards to focus on the crescent moon. And what we're seeing here is partnership and vision coming together. Partners are in the vision card, and we also see the Kiss, which would to me represent a partnership like a 2 of Cups or Lovers moment, or maybe 6 of Cups too. So I see a nice connection happening and someone else that's coming into your life that could be helping you see something through to fruition, which is exciting. Okay, let's take a look at the desk here and see what the cards have to say here as we're looking at it. So smack dab here in the center, we have the 3 of Wands energy. 3 of Wands, a beautiful way to kick things off here because it's giving you a chance to realize that your dreams are much closer and much more attainable than you may imagine. So in this moment in time, I think focusing on not trying to do everything for everyone, by the way, that we do see the juggling going on in this particular card. So I think that for many of you, this is just confirmation that you're good at multitasking, but do remember to focus on one thing in particular rather than perhaps bringing yourself into all these different directions and feeling kind of burnt out. So I think if you can do that, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much is available to you and how quickly you can start to see reap some of the benefits or some of the rewards on this. So the center card is being crossed by the 6 of Cups, which again is a lovely partnership card. And on this 6 of Cups, we actually have the full moon or a waxing crescent card. So hard to tell here because it looks a little bit more like a waxing just because of the shadow here. Or not a waxing crescent, but a waxing gibbous. So we're looking at something here probably 1 month in. Again, there's an opportunity to deepen the partnership here. But straight at the center, we see your dreams coming to fruition. 3 of Wands means your ships are coming in, that success is within reach and it's a lot closer than you think. And it also tells me that what you're doing is going to be received by others because of the vision, because of the quality, that you're actually attracting a higher sort of connection or friendship. And that is actually quite nice as well. All right, let's look into the deep past here. We have the lovely 4 of Wands. And this 4 of Wands is, notice all the partner energy here. So this one is just vision, but we have partner here, partner here, partner here, partner here, right off the bat. So I actually feel like some great people are coming into your life to help you gain some perspective here. The 4 of Wands here reminds me a bit of the Wheel of Fortune, because with this particular 4 of Wands, we see people that are trying to, are starting to understand that together we can do more. Together we can make this more powerful. Together this is going to be better than I anticipated. So the 4 of Wands typically would show the 4 of Wands and space in the center, allowing for that person to come in, allowing for them to make a difference. So very much like Field of Dreams, by building and keeping a vision for something, you actually bring it a little bit closer into your life. So don't lose track of that, don't give up, and realize that you're absolutely tracking and manifesting things exactly the way they need to do. So the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Wands work together. This is saying good partnership with people. This is saying keep an eye on the horizon, because what you want is already probably at the dock and waiting for you to pick it up. Using the ship metaphor, normally you would see the ships on the dock there, okay? And there's a lot of people, a lot of energy coming in that want to sort of help you. Back to the message around sleep that we talked about earlier, we have the 4 of Swords here. 4 of Swords is showing that for many of you, rest is going to be the way that you can access solutions. I know for me, a lot of things come through with my dreams. Usually when I do a monthly reading, the dream messages are so powerful. I get a lot of the totems during dreams, and I just get a lot of clarity. So pay attention to things that are coming to you. Also, like when you daydream or when you're just taking some time off, all of that's really important. If the universe has provided you this opportunity to relax, take it. We don't always have the sort of luxury of having time off, but if you're getting a little bit of a lull in your schedule, this is an important time, because usually when that happens, in front of us, we can expect some sort of a interesting sort of experience where we're going to need that rest. The universe usually has our back when it comes to pacing. So just pace yourself appropriately, okay? Your crowning card is the Princess of Swords. So the Princess, or the Page of Swords, is really speaking to you deciding to take the initiative and say, this is what I want, like speaking up and also taking the action. Pages are often caught in the middle sometimes. So you may be asked in this moment in time, where do you stand? What do you want? So make sure you know what you want, where you stand. I like that we see a butterfly on that. She seems a little sassy. So one thing that I would say for you is personality can go a long way. You may be able to convey what you're interested in through just kind of like letting people in on part of your personality. So show who you are, express who you are, and allow people to kind of fall in love with that part of you. Communicating with that open heart, like we talked about, avoiding some of the pitfalls that we saw with the 3 of Swords, or even what was the other one that I looked at, in the 4 of Pentacles. Those 2 cards were really important to make sure that you can just let yourself go. All right, as we look at near future opportunities, basically things that are right around the horizon, we have Hanged Man. We have Hanged Man, again, with a beautiful Ankh symbol here, and I've been seeing that in a few different decks lately. The Afro Goddess has an amazing Hanged Man and also an amazing Death card. Both of them have different Ankhs. I think the Hanged Man card, it probably is on them. I know that the Death card, I believe she's wearing it. But anyway, no matter how you shape it, this moment in time is giving you what you need to make the right decision. So Hanged Man reverse, do not be impatient. Take this moment to go back and look at things and think, all right, have I caught everything? Is there anything else that I could be focusing on? How do I feel about this? Also, have I gained the lesson, the karmic lesson? Have I learned it? Whenever you've released a lesson, sometimes it can be euphoric. It's just this like sense of, wow, this feels great. I really feel like I accomplished something. Sometimes we have a very difficult lesson that we get with, someone in our life, a family member or a loved one in particular, where karma's released, but it's painful. And you just think to yourself, I'm never going to repeat that again. So sometimes it's a good, like I graduated, yay, I did the right thing, I took the high road, everything's good. Sometimes you get stuck and you go in the mud a little bit. But one thing that I like to say about that, whenever you're in the mud, you just want to imagine that you're going to eventually be that water lily that comes up, because they have to go through the dark and murky waters sometimes before they can blossom. So you always have that opportunity to push through the mud and the murky waters and blossom. So take this moment to bloom, take this moment to really shine, and you're not wasting time. You're being asked to pause before continuing and before succeeding eventually. All right, looking now into your deep past here, we have the Princess of Cups here. And the Princess of Cups is also reminding you to focus here on opening yourself up to happiness. We talked about the importance of that earlier. Some of you may just be in a place where it's difficult to imagine that you are deserving of whatever's coming through. You also may just be tired, right? And you may be thinking to yourself, like, in this moment in time, how can I do this if I'm not happy? So I think for many of you, just making sure that you're prioritizing personal health, your happiness, and that you're not rushing to complete something just because you're uncomfortable with it. Like, really focus on, why am I unhappy? What do I want to and what do I need to be happy? And then finding a way to kind of create a natural plan of attack to make that happen in your life. I definitely see love for many of you. We have the Princess of Cups and the King of Cups here. We have also the Six of Cups, and we have love in our cards over here. So I really feel optimistic about how and where all of this could kind of lead you. So love and happiness, very important, and not putting yourself second. When we go into the environment here, we have the Empress card, and she's an amazing symbol for your power. And also, because she's in the environment, other people may be attracted to you and trying to maybe even hold you back or test your own sort of power capacity. When she's reversed, it's often a boss or a parent, can also be a friend, that just wants to come in and win. This is someone who can't lose. And I'm not saying that in a positive way, I'm saying it in a limiting way, where they're incapable of admitting, I could have done this better, or I don't know the answer to that. And so if you're ever around someone who has cotton in their ears and is refusing to see or hear something from a different perspective, this is a big red flag right now for you to focus on some other way around that, okay? For you, it's just, again, focusing on managing your life, your power, your energy, okay? With this in reverse, it can also indicate that some of you are ready to let something go. This is a time to grow. And I talked about, for air signs in particular, there could be that the Two Pentacles. So some of you might be saying, in this moment in time, I really just want to focus on this, not that. And I'm going to let this go. And by releasing it, birthing it, or letting it go, you're going to be able to open up and be a lot happier, a lot more fulfilled. Okay? Again, when we're looking at opportunities, no big surprises here with the King of Cups. We see more opening, more availability when it comes to like relationships and people interested in you. So I like that. It also shows a creative download and energy that wouldn't normally be there. So that's amazing as well. And I think that the other thing here, as we're looking at, as we kind of look at the two here in combination here. So we have Princess of Cups, the Empress, and the King of Cups. What we're seeing here is you growing into a stronger you. So to answer the questions, yes, we see two crescents. The reversals are crescents, but we have a full moon, and this definitely looks like a full moon. It doesn't look like it's waxing or waning. And so I feel like by the end of the month, or by the time the full moon hits, you're going to be in a much better energetic state. We finally have cups upright, which is important. Perhaps at this point, you've also pulled in this Six of Cups energy here, which is saying, I'm ready for love in the highest forms. I've called this in. I deserve it. This is exactly where I need to be. So I really do see some beautiful partnership energy, but it may take until the end of the month. And the internal sort of work that you have to do on yourself right now is accepting yourself, accepting new opportunities, owning your power, pushing back on people that try to control or convince you otherwise, and then really saying, yeah, I'm ready at this moment. And when your knight or your king comes in, you're going to recognize that energy, okay? Now, the only thing that's possibly going to hold you back, and I always try to present a nice and balanced approach, is the Five of Cups card here. I like to remind people with the Five of Cups, and we'll pull this real close, is that there's always two cups that are left. We see 5 in the water. We see the lovely lilies. I was talking about the ability to push up through the mud. And she can either focus on the mud and the lost cups, or she can focus on the fact that these lilies are right there, and she's got the Two of Cups, basically. So the Five of Cups is always a hidden partnership and always a hidden Two of Cups. Sometimes we're just looking at ourselves too. That Two of Cups can be self-love. Not always seen that way, but in this particular card, I know it's the Five of Cups, but we're focusing on the positive, the Two of Cups. So some of you are focused more, if we turn it upside down, you're focused on the mirror reflection, right? So you are what you see. So I want you to make sure that you kind of look around and look at what you've created in your life. Look at the impact that you have made on other people and realize that all of that is you too. It's not just your projected fears or your projected uncertainties. You are probably much more beautiful than you give yourself credit for, okay? Let's go ahead now and move on to the expanded forecast. By the way, I'll just remind you here, the expanded forecast includes health, wealth, love, and destiny. When I do a special reading like an impromptu, I look at it slightly differently than usual. And we're going to be looking at this in respect to the new moon and creating a new cycle. So the first thing here, health, is saying, I'm going to make peace with the shadow side of myself. I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. By looking into this, just like we would the moon card, appropriately enough, it's the only card that didn't come through so far with the moon on it. By looking into the hopes and fears, we're able to truly see who we are. So there's going to be some shadow work that's done this month. And shadow work is just things that we've been avoiding and sweeping under the rug. And if we look at the cards in front of us, some of the things that are happening here are, how am I pacing myself? Am I patient with myself? Am I paying attention to all this good stuff that I've done here? 4 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 6 of Cups. How do I speak about myself? Is it in the positive or am I self-deprecating? Those are some things that you can do that work on this sort of mirror imagery that we're seeing here with the shadow card, right? For many of you also, there could just be issues of control. This is your time to step in and see yourself as an equal. We do see a little bit of an inequality between because we have 2 pages and we have a king here. So some of you may just be in a weird sort of family situation or in a friend situation where, again, it's sort of like everybody trying to get attention, but you're the King of Cups. That's really where I think your opportunity is. So see yourself as equal to or greater than, so that you're putting yourself in a position of power. All of these things are going to help you. Even though we're looking a little bit at relationships here, this is going to help you with just well-being. Particularly with health. Standard disclaimers apply here. I'm not a doctor, so if you need medical help, get it. But just looking at the energy around this, pay attention to your feet and your legs. A lot of times with the Hanged Man card, there can be weaknesses in the ankles and feet, so pay attention to that. Some of you may be not moving enough. There can be stagnation with the Hanged Man as well. It can also, those are the typical things with that, actually. Let me see here. Some of you are getting too little or too much sleep. So focus on regulating your sleep schedule, as we talked about earlier. And if you're feeling sad, depressed, or overwhelmed, talk to someone and get some help, okay? All of those things are important. And again, standard disclaimers apply. I am not a doctor, but if you kind of look at this and figure out what you can focus on, it can sort of be a guidepost for that. All right, we're going to go from health to wealth. Wealth, we have doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. The card is reversed, so it's actually a sign of knowledge, strength, power, and good leadership to say something like, that's a good question. I need some time. Let me look into it. Or I can get back to you with the answer hopefully by tomorrow. I need to reach out to an expert. That tells me that you know what you know and you know what you don't know, and you're not going to fake it to me and try to sort of like pull the wool over my eyes. So don't try to say something that you don't know. When in doubt, ask. Also, if you do know the answer, don't doubt yourself. This cuts both ways. So perhaps you know the answers, but you're afraid to be a know-it-all. So I think walking the line and knowing to say what you know and say what you don't know, that's going to be really important with wealth. People will trust you more because they know that when you come to them, there's an authentic yes or an authentic no. All right, looking again at just general wealth cards this month. I feel pretty good about any of you that are artists out there or creatives because you got two really powerful creative download cards. So it's going to be a productive month for you if you're creative. The only thing that can get in the way of any of you this month could be just your ability to focus, because sometimes with all these cups cards, you can get caught in the mix of what's going on. So try to keep yourself balanced there. I do think that there's a necessary wait for some of you that might be looking for a job or looking for an answer. It may not be exactly what you want sometimes, but the good news here is that you are manifesting your own opportunities. And don't forget the powerful energy here in the Vision and the Kiss cards, as well as the Six of Cups. So partner, and then also partnership energy with the Six of Cups. So I feel like the key to success when it comes to wealth and money is going to be, for many of you, reaching out to people that you trust in your life, not being afraid to kind of tap into that. All right. So you got a great pool of resources around you. Go for that by all means. Okay. And again, with this, there may be someone who can help you through something. The caption on this card says disappointment, but we're missing the bigger vision here, which is there's really something to celebrate, and we're focusing perhaps on the past there. So don't focus so much on that. Focus more on what you can really bring some energy into. Okay. And I think that's pretty much everything here. I will say that even if you feel like you're in a cycle where there's not a lot of abundance, you're building a better cycle for you. This Four of Wands can be attached to like April or 4 months from now. So keep working and you're going to see that. Maybe in 3 months, because you have the Three of Wands sooner than you think. Okay. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's go ahead now and move on to love and relationships. I'm just going to pull the card up for this one. We have the Rhino Spirit, overcoming any obstacle. This is a very auspicious card to come through because it's kind of positive no matter how you shake it. One thing that I would say with the Rhino Spirit is to, like, we're looking at the nose there. I want you to trust to me, this is like a sensory card too. What do you feel when you step into a situation? Does it sit well in your stomach? You know, I felt that connection earlier of a tug of war with a sort of power position in your family or maybe at work with the Empress card. So focus on how do I feel when I'm getting in or out of a situation. Focus on sort of like just the general feeling in your heart as you embark on something. Does it make me feel happy, or do I feel kind of meh or icky? I really want you to focus on like how it spiritually smells, good or bad to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, overcoming any obstacle. Let's take a look at this in 3 different ways. We want to look at those of you that are in a primary relationship or whatever right now, basically in love or in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. You can also apply this to just the key relationship in your life. It doesn't have to be about love and sex. This can be just the dynamics of a key relationship. It could be your roommate, it could be a teacher, it could be a parent, someone that you love unconditionally. So this can be unconditional love, or it can be romantic love, because it's love with a capital L. So looking at love with a capital L in respect to those of you that are already in a relationship. So right at the center, a lot is getting done. I love that we have the Three of Wands. I love that we have the Four of Wands. It feels like you picked someone with whom you could really trust and build a future on. So continuing to keep the energy in the positive is going to be key. Open communication, of course, is going to be important. There is some impatience. You can't make things happen faster, I don't feel. So I feel like it's going to be important to kind of look at the overall timelines and make sure that you're at peace with that, okay? There's a little bit of a delay. There's a little bit of a lack of sleep. Make sure that you're getting sleep, or else arguments could ensue. A little bit of a power dynamic here. You're also in a growth spurt, so just make sure that you're giving yourself time to get where you need to. The Hanged Man and the Five of Cups is reminding you to just take it slow and to look at the positive, and to also look at how much you've built together. Ultimately, because the message here is overcome any obstacle, I believe that you can do just that. For those of you looking for love, First of all, I feel like there's already people around you that are interested. I mean, the Six of Cups shows that it's closer than you think. It could come through a close friend or a colleague, even a family member that's thinking about setting you up or introducing you, or there's a party or something like that. So an organic meeting for many of you is what's brought this about. But even if it's brand new, I feel like there's something fun, there's something playful about that. I think there's a lot of positivity in putting that energy. You just may find that you're impatient in this new relationship. Maybe you've waited a while for it. Take some time. Drink this in a little bit. Enjoy the courtship part of it. Have some fun and really get to know that person. Talk as much as you can. I love that we have vision and kiss here. So really falling in love with who you are, who they are, what your shared vision is, like really getting to know each other. There could be a slight age or experience difference here. It feels like you have a few partners. So one is very close to you, one is in sort of age and experience, and one is a little bit more experienced. So be discerning. Make sure that if you have options in front of you, you're really embracing and deciding which one fits best, what shoe fits best, okay? For those single and happy, one thing that I'm noticing here is still development of friendships and core relationships, but it is a super productive period for you. 4 of Wands and 3 of Wands. You're just manifesting like there's no tomorrow, so I like that. Power and authority is going to be an important piece across the board in all relationships, but for those of you that are single and happy, you're possibly laying down the groundwork for something new, something that you really care about, and don't lose track of that, okay? I think that's the important thing, and really making sure that you feel like you can hold a seat at that table and be powerful and be heard is going to be key, okay? So pretty good across the board. Final card here in this spread, which is Destiny, is balance, which goes back to, especially from I believe it was the air signs that had this message. We have this lovely cosmic balance card. And if we look at what her mudra is here, the kind of like position of her hands, we see the yin and yang. So for some of you, it's a decision to reclaim that sort of divine balance in your life. And I always remind people that, like, I hope we're at the point now that we can see beyond limits. I was talking about someone who recently unfollowed me because of the color of my shirt, and I thought, how ridiculous is that? It's really just as silly as not liking someone because of the color of their hair, their eyes, their skin, their religion, their place of origin. It's so not based on fact. So I'm sorry that person did it, but it was more indicative of their own limitations, and I can't help them if they're that limited anyway. So one thing that I would remind all of us is that we've lived many, many lifetimes and we've been everything under the sun. So when the energy of judgment comes through, try to think back in your soul's repository and think, I probably have gone through this before. How would I feel as that person? What would I do? How can I avoid this? Because you're going to be able to find the balance. You're a very old soul. Everyone that's tuning in here has had at least a few lifetimes. So you can decide, all right, how do I want it to go this time? Just because you have karma with someone doesn't mean that you have to repeat it. And just because there's some sort of an opportunity to act out doesn't mean, we're not like the dog in the background there that just kind of does what it wants to because it's instinct. We do have the ability to sometimes, we can choose and we can hold back, or we can kind of go all in. So I would say for you, really decide, is it worth saying what I'm going to say and doing what I'm going to do? Is it worth me sacrificing things to keep doing something that doesn't bring me the balance that I want it? You really have much more powerful sort of effect over your life than you give yourself credit for, okay? So let's do the big idea just because I feel like it. Again, I like to make things up as I go on these readings as far as the format goes. So we'll probably do the big idea, and we'll probably also do a final card. We may not do a meditation because I like to keep these in a little bit more concise form, but we may light a candle for intention together, which will be a mini meditation, just no sound bowl or anything. So the big idea, what is the big idea? The big idea is, like, how can we take the new moon and the new month, because it's right here, it's already happening in Europe and across the world, very early here in the Pacific time zone, but it's right upon us, right? So February is about to happen. New moon is underway. We're going to have an interesting night of dreams. So what can we do to manifest, to maximize the new moon energy? Okay, so we have Eon and Judgment in this card. Let me pull it real close so you can see it. So I mentioned judgment. It's so interesting because that was part of my part of what I was talking about with all of this here. So we live many, many lifetimes, but this is the one that matters because we're going through it right now. Judgment, or Eon in this particular deck, gives you this moment to decide, how am I going to rise from the ashes of my past? What do I want to do? You can reinvent yourself in this lifetime without having to go through some sort of another metamorphosis. So all you have to decide is, I know that this matters and this doesn't, and I'm going to choose this path. I'm not going to second guess myself anymore. So something either feels really, really good to you and really, really authentic to you. I'm so sorry about the neighbor's dog. Or it feels to you that it could be, you're just kind of like holding yourself back from something. So judgment reversed examples, just to kind of help you out. One example of judgment reversed is you are very unhappy in your job. You have options out there, but you're not willing to explore it because it's comfortable. I really hate the phrase, the devil you know, because it's still a devil. And that's also kind of implying that everything's a devil. You have so much more power than that. That's actually the antithesis of what this whole reading has been about. So you have the power to move things in any direction. So if you stay with something because of the devil you know, you're still with the devil. So don't do that. It's better to explore opportunities. Research, reach out, try something new. Better to try and to fail than to never try and never explore. So that's a judgment reverse. I know I should get out, but I'm not. Another judgment reverse can be, I know I can do this, but I'm afraid. So I'm going to just stay here too. It's fear of judgment of others. It's fear of showing your true colors. It's holding yourself back, even though you know you can do it, even though you know it's right. Judgment reverse is seeing someone in a situation that they shouldn't be in. Like maybe they're being pushed down by someone else, figuratively speaking. So they're not allowed to rise up through the ranks of business or life or whatever. And you could help them, or you could step in, or you could advocate. And judgment reverse is not speaking up on their behalf. So don't hold back. If you know you should do something, do it. If you know it's time to try something but you're afraid, educate yourself on the fears, talk to someone, get some support. But judgment is saying, hello, my friend, we've opened up the pathway for you. We hope you're ready. Your guides are there. They're setting it up. So don't hold back. That's what this month is saying. Don't hold back. You can do this. You can push through this. And don't doubt yourself. Don't let someone else push their judgments on you either. It's their opinion, it's their version of you, but it's not you. Very powerful big idea card to come through. So the big idea is basically saying, you've got this, you know what to do. And now the question is how and when. You already know the why, and you already know it's not an if. So figuring out how to pull all of that together, I think is going to be super important. All right. So I would like we're going to mix it up because that's what I do on this. I like to try new things. I want to, even though I'm calling it the final card, we'll do a final card here. I want you to ask me a question. I didn't look at blessings and blocks, but that's okay. I feel like we got a lot of balance today, and I like to keep these around an hour to an hour and 10. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to light a candle, and that'll be it for this reading because I like them to be shorter. All right, so focusing on the final card. I'm sure many of you have a question, or you looked at this notification today and you thought, gosh, I hope Nicholas can answer this. This is your moment to just mentally ask it and think about it. And I'm going to do my best to answer it. So just think it. Let's look at your final card. It's a really beautiful Seven of Pentacles. All right, so the Seven of Pentacles was reversed, but let's look at it in this position because, again, it's just so beautiful. The Seven of Pentacles is really an opportunity for you to grow and to recover. Typically on the Seven of Pentacles, we would see a woman in front of a tree or a bush or some sort of shrub. And basically we see all of these lovely fruits, sometimes coins growing on it. It's like a money tree. And so when you see the Seven of Pentacles here, this is a reminder that I've worked hard, I've made some mistakes, but I'm not going to repeat those mistakes because I remember what it's like to be on the other side, right? And the patience card here with the Hanged Man is going to be a big piece of this, not rushing. A lot of times we want to rush through to that other side, but this is saying, no, I'm going to be very cognizant of all of the cycles and circles and things that I'm making here. And we see the circles in the sand. One thing with the circles in the sand is I kind of look at that. It's so cool. The other day I went to the planetarium, and it's kind of nice to remember what it looks like to just sort of like look out into outer space and see all the connections of everything. But so sorry about the community dogs out there right now. With the Seven of Pentacles, we're looking at orbits. And so with the orbits around us, this is a sort of, it's calling into question for you. What do you find important? What's closest and most important to you? So in our sun's case, it's Mercury. It goes around really, really fast. Kind of appropriate because Mercury's in retrograde. But in our own lives, there might be something else. For me, it's Apollo, and he's just chilling out here. So you know it's not him making the noise. So usually like there's someone that you love. It can be your partner, it can be your dog, it can be your child. It can also be a project that you want. I want you to pull that closest to your orbit and focus on it. I want you to push out the other things that you don't care about as much, put them into the outer orbits, right? So the outer orbits here are going to be things that kind of just create distraction in your life. This could be friends and family that tend to kind of just sometimes put negativity or other things around you that are not kind of like worthy of your time anymore. So if there are people that just kind of create noise in your life, push that into the exterior. Bring other things closer like training, knowledge expansion, things like that. Focus on things that can really empower you. Obviously, don't extend yourself too far. There are limits with this card, so knowing your limits and knowing when to put those limits out there is going to be also really important. Okay? So the reason I mentioned the planetarium is we were looking at all the sort of like orbits of the planets, and it was also showing like the galaxies and moving all across. And it's kind of like what I've talked about before, which is sometimes we have it's like a macro lens on a camera or a phone. It's focusing on close up, but you have to go wide angle and you have to see how vast things are around you. And the Seven of Pentacles can sometimes be a macro lens on one mistake or one thing that's not happening fast enough. But when you go wide angle, you start to see just how much more there is out there than that. And I think that's your big opportunity as well, is to just focus on that. As a yes/no, this would be a yes with several caveats. The Seven of Pentacles tells me yes, but proceed with caution, and don't expend too many resources. Don't spend too much time, too much energy, and don't spread yourself too thin. It's also a card that says before you go back to something, like let's say you had an injury, it's saying just give it another week. Just take a little bit more time before you push that extra bit. It's going to be really important that you know your limits and how far you can go so that you don't end up kind of like breaking that rubber band and going back in time. Okay? So I think that that is everything in a nutshell. Let's take one last thing here, and I want you to focus on something. We'll light the candle, and I'll pull a final card after I do that as well to look at this. Let me see if I have an extra candle. I do. So together, let's go ahead now and set an intention for this new moon, and it can be anything that you want. Each of you, you're going to have a slightly different intention. So I just want you to focus on it, see it in your heart, see it in your soul, and imagine that there's one thing that you can really bring some sort of a really nice change or a nice sort of progress to. Let's light a candle together, and then I'm going to pull a card to see what we can do to push this forward. All right, so as I light this candle, please, guides and angels, come through and help us see if there's anything that we can do to bring it into fruition. All right, let's go ahead and pull a single card on this and see what the message is, and we're going to wrap up with this, okay? And I'll say thank you at the end here to anyone that gave back a little bit. All right, so final sort of card about manifestation here, or about bringing something in this new moon cycle, is death and rebirth. Fantastic. All right, so this is the phoenix rising from the ashes. The card is reversed, which is saying, I am choosing to step away from stagnation. I know that there are no true ends. There are only beginnings that happen because I walk away from something or I release something. So Notice that the focus, the bold word on this one is actually rebirth. It's not the death portion of it. So you are starting something new. But to start something new, you have to let go of something old, okay? And you're gonna be fine. Death, to me, is an exciting card because it shows that anything is possible. And if you were pushed back, said no to, held back for any reason, this is saying you're okay. Good things await, all right? So thank you so much. This is an impromptu. Every time they're different. They're always for everyone that's present. If you enjoyed it, again, just a quick note. If you're brand new and just happen to see that I was live and you don't know who this Nicholas Ashbaugh character is, hit subscribe, hit like so that you can figure out when some new videos are coming through. Check out my main channel because all of your February readings are up. I actually just posted the date for Aries. I'll put the schedule up for the rest of the signs this week. But I can already tell you Aries and Taurus are going to be Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. My weekend collective will be back at its regularly scheduled time at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday. I'll try to get all of these up tonight so you can click the set reminders. Should be up by, let's see, it's Monday. By Tuesday, all of these should be up. So just a heads up on that. You can always follow me on social media for more reminders and information on what's going on, including little snippets of the videos. Been a little bit behind because I had some family obligations this weekend, but you'll see the snippets go up over the next couple of days. My live schedule will be up there in the next day or so as well. And thank you to everybody that gave back here with super stickers and super chats. Hopefully my thanks button is working. It is. It wasn't before. All right. So I want to say thank you right now to everybody. I want to start first with a sort of general thank you. If you're brand new, welcome. If you've been with me for 7 years or so, then thanks for sticking around. And if you've been a contributing member, like you're giving back each month or one time, I appreciate that because you've allowed me to expand and upgrade everything. And I think it's visible for those of you that have been around that I've been reinvesting and I continue to do so. All right, so I want to say special thanks to any of the new members tonight. Let me see if it's showing up because earlier today I couldn't see new memberships. I'm hoping I can. Looks like it's back. And let me see if stickers are back too. I'll try to do that. I may not be able to see it just because YouTube's been a little wonky, but know that I do see it. All right, so I want to say welcome to Alex Blackman. Rejoining after 6 months of membership. It's good to have you back. Thank you so much. Jarina Bella, thank you so much. Brand new member. Good to have you on board. Aaron, it looks like Dumovitz, welcome. Looks like you're a brand new member. And let's see, Black Cat Tarot, New Zealand, I think. Welcome. Thanks for rejoining after 1 month of membership. Acufacial Admin, thank you for rejoining after 10 months of membership. And I think that's everyone that's joined in the last day or so. So it's good to have all of you as part of the community. I'll be doing some additional perks here over the next week or so. I'm going to ask for some feedback and things like that. And always on the weekend, you get a chance to vote. So keep an eye out on the community tab for that. All right, let me see if supers are working. They are. They weren't working earlier, but they're working now. So I'm happy to see that. Let's see. I don't know if I can see all of it. Yeah, YouTube's a little bit wonky right now. It's not letting me see all of the supers. So let me just try it in another browser and we'll hope that I can see it. Otherwise, I can only identify a few here and it's not a big deal. I can actually say thanks at my next reading here. Let's see, please, please, please. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it right now. It's only showing me the first few. So I'll say thanks to those that I can see. AB, let's see, Shayna Riley, Dana Mazur. Let's see, New Life Prop, Mighty Mystic. Angela Jetstream Stover. And then let me see, I'm going to try to kind of take a look here in chat and see if I can see him here. Apologies again for YouTube's had some quirks right now. So I'm going to try to kind of go through this and say thanks if I can see it here in my streaming app here. So it's going to take a second here. So Farah Aziz, thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution. Liz Morrison, thank you as well. Faruza Zakari, I think it is. Thank you. Let's see. Anne Frood, thank you very much. Nimi Sabu, much appreciation. Thank you for the 20. Let's see. Tahoe, thank you for the 777. Let's see. Claudia Bruce, thank you as well. And apologies, it's taking a little longer. I have to scroll through the whole text. And if I miss anyone, I'm doing my best. But YouTube's not cooperating here. Michelle Brown, thank you. Let's see. Isabel, thank you as well. I know Maria has also been thanking you all along, and I always review the chat afterwards, so I will see everything then. Let's see here. Rosemary, thank you so much for that 50. I appreciate that as well. Kathy Aram, thank you. You're a consistent contributor too. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Mary, thank you. Namrata, thank you very much. Michelle Miller, I may have some repeats now because let's see. Michelle Depoy. Annie Mule, thank you for the 20. I appreciate it. Aphrodite Goddess 369. Let's see if I've missed anybody. I think I've got most of them. Catherine Welsh. Mercathea Hughes, thank you so much for the 20. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Angela Jetstream Stover. Yes. Mighty Mystic 27. Thank you very much. Dana Mazur. I think I'm now back into what I had before. Good. I was able, thankfully, with my streaming app to be able to see it, even though YouTube did not cooperate. Hopefully I caught everyone. If I missed you, I still appreciate it, and I will see it on replay. In the meantime, lots of love and light to everyone. Thanks to Maria for working tonight. I appreciate her. She's great always. I'll see everybody Thursday and Friday and Sunday of this upcoming week. Again, opt into notifications so you can keep in touch. And in the meantime, be kind to yourselves, and I'll see you real soon. All right? I'm going to spend some time with this little furry guy in the background. And again, I appreciate your time and energy tonight. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.